Good day everyone and welcome back to another tutorial. Today I want to be showing you guys how to take a video clip such as this one with a green screen background and basically removing the green screen and doing a few cleanups. For example, there's a little bit of green shining on the laptop here from reflections of the light. There's this little panel here which doesn't get removed through green screening, and this post here. This is a video that my dad, he shot the video, and this is my physics teacher. He allowed me to actually use the video for production, and today I just want to teach you how to do this in a production environment. So we're going to take the video from this to something like this. So as you can see, the green screen is removed. There's no green shining on the laptop. Now there might be slightly, but it's very, very minimal. That one piece there is gone on the walls, as well as that post. Now this little stuff here at the bottom, I guess they call it ticker tape in the news, for example. That is a separate topic that's not part of this tutorial, but it's basically just a black bar with some text at the bottom here. Nothing too fancy. So what we're going to do is, before importing any video into Blender, what we want to do is make sure the dimensions and frame rate is correct. So if you don't have the correct dimensions or frame rate, you don't know what it is, you can do one of two things. One is, File Explorer is acting weird, is going straight to the file, right clicking, go to Properties and Details. Now as you can see here, we have no frame width, frame height, or frame rate. That happens with some videos, not a big deal. All we do is go into VLC Media Player if you have it, under codec information from Tools, and actually I have it open here. And you can see the display resolution 1280 by 720, frame rate 25, and I actually have that set up already in Blender. 1280 by 720, frame rate 25. So let's go into compositing, use nodes, backdrop, and we don't need a render layer because we're using video, not rendering scenes. So instead, let's add an input movie clip, open, and I have it saved down here. And we don't actually need to put it into the composite nodes. Let's just delete that so it's out of the way. And let's connect it to a viewer. Now, we're doing most of our work in here, so let's just expand that. Alright, so first thing we need to do is remove the green screen. And to do that, we're going to go under Matte, and I believe it is Channel Key. There's a few ways to do this. This is the way I prefer it. There's Channel Key, there's Keying, which if I just take that out of there, you can see what this does, and then you just change the key color to green or the backdrop. That's another way to do it. If you do not prefer that way, we also have, I believe that was keying screen. But this is for some other kind of technique. I'm not quite sure what. But me, I prefer the channel key. So as you can see, it starts removing the green screen, and at first it does not look good at all. So what we do is we can choose the color space. RGB is fine since it's just a plain green background that we had in our school. You can change the highs to choose how much it removes, and then adjust the lows to get a finer detail. Now you don't want too much to be removed, because if you go up too high, as you can see, it takes out a lot. And that's because everything, technically speaking, almost everything, has a slight hint of green. That's the reason why we call it RGB color space. So to fix the rest of that, what we're going to do is go into Matte, Color Spill, and just add that in, and that will clear up any colors that are spilled. So the reason why we have multiple channels, because most people think as soon as you want to remove a background, you want green screen. You can actually use multiple colors. Green is usually used because there's more colors of green that we can view as humans with our eyes than any other color. Hence the reason also why night goggles are green, so you can see the different shades and not hit anything at night. You could also do blue colors. As you can see, that changed the color of his shirt, which is blue, and etc. So we want green because it's green screen, obviously. And then the ratio is just how far to clean it. And I'm just going to leave that at 1. 1 is usually fine. And the factor, of course, is by how much. So usually the default settings I find work just fine. If they don't, just tweak it and you should be okay. A side note, if you don't see the green screen being removed, if it looks something like this, make sure your viewer node is clicked with use alpha. Alright, so that takes out the main problem. Now to get to the rest of this, for example, removing that one other piece, what we want to do is, as you can see here, I have some stuff open. What we want to do is let's just minimize this here, expand this, and change this into a video sequence editor. I'm sorry, that was the wrong one, movie clip. So what we want to do is add in a movie clip, go into the mask mode, and it's okay that it's a green screen right now, that's no problem. And let's just make sure we're on frame 1. It doesn't matter what frame you're on unless the object is moving. Luckily for us, this is a stationary object, so we just need to create a mask to get rid of this here. So to do that, let's just go under to here and control click and start adding a simple mask. Hit Alt C to make cyclic. Let's just grab that, make sure it's properly positioned. And now if we go back to the compositor, what we can do is we can add in a input mask, choose our mask, which is just called mask. Let's just zoom in here. And let's just go scene size is completely fine. And now what we want to do is add in, I believe it was an alpha over node, mainly because we're working with a lot of alphas. And let's just reverse that. Convert pre-multiply. And I believe we put this into the factor section. Now as you can see, that just made it white. Now if we wanted to completely get rid of it, what we would have to do is, one second here, there we go, is we have to take the, I'll just show you here so it's a little bit easier to explain. Alright, so here we have our mask, an invert, and our alpha over. So what we need to do is basically, this is telling Blender there is an object here and it's trying to mask it out, but it doesn't quite understand what to do. So there's two different ways to do this. Under one, we can go into color, invert, drop it in, and that just inverts the color. And if we put this on the front, that works completely fine. If we didn't want to invert this, you just get this. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to go under the mask editor here and click this button. This automatically makes the mask inverted from black to white. And basically what these values mean, one value means this is being taken out of the scene. The other value means add this in. And you can even use gradients in order to kind of make things fade in the scene, if that makes sense. So yeah, right now that's all we have, and you might be thinking, okay, I completely destroyed this, there's no green screen, there's a white screen. Do I have to restart that whole process? Well, actually no, because this alpha over node is, let me break it down for you. What we did is we took movie clip, channel key, and color spill to remove the green screen, and that's on the front portion of our alpha over. And then we took the mask to adjust the factor of what the alpha is. So right now the factor is that one area, and it's masking the whole background now. And then this little piece here is basically the color. So you can change that to whatever you want. What most people do is they'll go input an image or something else, anything you want really. And what I can do is I can go into any file I have here, and let's go into one of these. There we are. This is the little image I made for school, and yeah, it just inputs it there. So basically, one last time, the front portion here is what you're seeing on the first layer. Behind that is your second option there, second node input, and that's behind the first layer. Then lastly, you have the factor. And as you can see, if I unplug the factor, it includes that because it doesn't know to mask that out. So we add that in, and it's now masked out. Now, if this is too big of an image, which it is, what we can do is just go to convert and, or sorry, I think it's under transform or something. This is not something I use very often, so 1 second there. Distort, scale, and we can just go to scene size. Nope, relative. Okay, we got to go with relative. Let's make it half of what it is. Half is a bit small. Yeah, we go. Yeah, this is just a little project I did for school. I'm creating a CG class. So yeah. Alright, so if you don't have too much attention to detail, you might be thinking, okay, this looks great, I'm done. But there is an issue. Like I said earlier, there is green shining on the laptop. So we actually need to fix that. And the easiest way to do that, I found, was to actually add another mask. And let's actually start naming some of these masks, just so we don't get too out of control. So that we do have a mask under here somewhere. So let's just call this metal, because that's what that is. And let's actually just name the mask layer so we know what we're doing. And this will be computer. And yeah, we just want to mask out that computer real quick. So we just go along here, and it doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I did this in about, I'd say, 5 minutes. I was pretty rushed for time when making this video. I had about 3 hours after I got the video in order to actually edit it and get a project out for the guy you see in the video, for him to see, because he couldn't make it through the event that we were holding, a little charity event. So we needed to just do like a little filming thing so he could say that he wanted to be there, but unfortunately he had a meeting. So yeah, Alt-C to make that cyclic, and we can just call that one computer. Okay, and same thing, what we're going to do is add in a input mask. We're going to choose the mask computer. And we should probably turn feathering on. And I should have mentioned this before. Feathering is basically creating a gradient, so it's not a hard stop for the edge of the mask. Instead, it gradually moves out. So let's copy that alpha over again. Make that the first one. We're going to put this in mask. Oops, there we go. And you can see what that does. Now, this one's a bit tricky, actually. For what we need to do. So what I'm going to do is just do a little bit of tricks here. And alright, this is an actual issue I got to a lot while dealing with this. And this actually took me about an hour to figure out. So I'm just going to take a quick look at what I have here. And if we go into the computer, we have an alpha over to this and the original clip. Alright, so what we did here is, if I can just get a viewer node over there, I can show you. This first image here just took up the panel, and the second one allowed us to see the computer a bit better. And then after a color spill, it turned out fine. And now I just took out that post. Okay, so all we need to really do here is just take two images and basically combine them. Let's turn that pre-multiply all the way up. Turn this off. Oops, that should be inversed. Alright, and add in a matte color spill. And that cleans it up a little bit. What we really need to do is actually tighten up that mask. So let's just select some points, get a bit closer. Like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect, but it should be close enough. If you are doing a high quality project, I do recommend spending a lot more time on this. Oh. So what I'm going to do is just get it closer to the black pixels instead of the green. And that should be alright. Just a little bit back here. And when selecting points, make sure you grab the little black square. If you're using a theme, it might be a different color, but in the default Blender, it should be just a black square. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just reload that so you can actually see the results. And wait for it to load. And yeah, you can play around with the settings, see what you like. As you can see, if you inverse this, you'll get an inverse effect and such. And let's just do a little bit of cleanup there. Now I am having a little bit of issues, so let's just play around with the ratio and see what we can do. And whoop, I think I messed something up there. It just changed everything. The thing about compositing is that it takes quite a while in order to actually get used to it. So yeah, let's just change that factor a bit. Let's just do 0.8, maybe a bit more. It does leave a little bit of brown there. Alright, so it's looking pretty good. Like I said, in a tutorial, you only have a certain amount of time in order to do these things. So it's best if you actually take time yourself and adjust things to your liking. So I'm just going to add in a little... Oops, that changed everything. Okay, my computer's running a bit slow there. 1 second. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you might just want to go into the color balance node and change things around to make sure the color looks okay. So I'm just going to change the lift. I'm going to change the gamma to a little bit more blue. And the gain, let's go a little bit of orange. And as you can see, it's looking a lot better. So like I said, if you want to remove that little post there, or any other object you have in your video, it's the same process as before. Alpha over with a mask in the factor. What you would have as your new green screen footage in the middle, and then green screen on the bottom. And what this does is just takes this to mix with your original footage so that you have a clean transition between each, instead of it being a very kind of choppy looking image through each frame. Mainly because this takes and overlays the image you need, and this takes away the green screen in the background. This will just mask out objects. Then we just use the color spill to clean that up, color balance, make it look a little bit better, and that is it. So if you want to give that a render, let's just go ahead and add a composite node. Hit F12, and hope this renders quickly. And there you have it. So I know that's a bit more of a complex tutorial, and I kind of stuttered a bit there, but I hope this helps you out in future plans for any green screening or blue screening even, for what you need to do. And if you need to if you need to mask out characters, you can do that as well. It's just as easy. You just have to animate the mask. Just like anything else in Blender, everything's animatable. So yeah, that's all for today. If you want to learn how to add that little strip text at the bottom, just drop it down in the comments. I'll be happy to help you out. And until next time, thank you for watching.